Everybody, I'm Samantha from Lemon and the Sea, and I'm so excited to bring you this live interview with Ashley Beaudin of Firework People. We got to chat about her business and the community that she's been building through her Twitter chats, which are every Tuesday. You should definitely check them out if you haven't already, and just how she got started, how she's transitioned that community into building a copywriting business, how she uses her interns to help her manage her day-to-day life, which was really neat. And we also got to chat about her new campaign, #wearefireandlight, which I'm so excited about. She has 230 women already signed up to go on Twitter and just flood the world with the message that we have a passion and nothing can extinguish that. There are some great giveaways, and she even has all of the graphics put together for you. So if you're not a part of that, you should definitely sign up. We're looking forward to seeing how that goes viral and just really grows this movement. She has a real passion for helping women figure out what their fire is and figuring out how to get that out into the world. And I think that just listening to her is really encouraging. She's also got some great blog posts on her blog that are just encouraging for anybody who's struggling right now or who has struggled in the past, and knowing that you're not alone in whatever you're going through. So enjoy watching this, and I hope that you'll join us for the campaign, which is October 19th through the 21st. If you've missed it, you should definitely go check out the hashtag and see what happened. I'm hoping that this is a really huge movement and that you'll be a part of it and get to experience it with the rest of us. We should be live.
Woohoo!
Okay, so if anybody is watching and you're in the chat, you can go ahead and introduce yourselves, and if you have questions, you can just type them in and we'll go through them during the interview. So just type them in and we'll check those as we go. And I'm super excited for this one and for the We Are Fire and Light campaign that we're going to be talking about. So if you want to introduce yourself, Ashley.
Yeah, so my name's Ashley, and I lead a community called Firework People, and we just are for women who have big dreams and are trying to make them happen, and we come in your corner to help you be successful at what you're doing, through whether it's through encouragement or community or some of our practical services. And we have been planning a huge social media campaign called #wearefireandlight. And it's October 19th to 21st. And it is a campaign to get women to answer, kind of fill in the statement, my fire is blank, and blank will not extinguish it, in the hopes to see women really just declare what their fire is and to think about kind of like what are the things that won't stop them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to know how you got started running your online business and building this community, because I think you're kind of doing both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's been an interesting adventure, because it definitely just started off as a community and has kind of transformed into both a business and a community. And it started off August 2014. I wanted to run a Twitter party, and I wanted to do it for fun because I had hosted them in the past and I love the energy. And I thought, if I could do a Twitter party for anyone, who would it be? And I thought women who want to make a difference. And so, and just knowing too, if you're someone who has huge dreams and you want to make a difference in the world, sometimes that can be kind of a lonely journey, or you can feel a little crazy. So to create community in that spot was really my heart. And the name Firework People came from a poem I had written about kind of who are these people that I call Firework People. And they're these people that when you get around them, it's their very existence asks you the question, do you know what you want? Do you know what you want out of life? Do you know what you want to create in the world? And so that's how the name kind of came to be.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
So then your business has then grown out of the community you created.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just been because when Fire People started in the beginning, I wasn't expecting it to really be a thing. I thought it would be just like a Twitter party. And it just we had really huge growth in the beginning. It kind of just felt like this thing just like was created out of nothing. And it was kind of at the beginning, like I felt like I was catching up to it, opposed to where like maybe if you like sit down and you're like, this is going to be my business, this is my goal. For me, it was more like, oh my gosh, like this is happening. What am I doing? So yeah, so it's definitely been like catching up to it and like finding out like what do women need and how can we serve women and how can we really help people not only dream big but make those dreams happen.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what do you think is like the passion behind your business, and then what is, how do you use that to help people practically?
Mm-hmm. Well, the passion behind it is really about, I believe that each and every single woman has a fire inside of them that when they learn how to own that it changes the world. And so it can be a fire for anything. It could be a fire for writing, like telling your story. It could be a fire for being a mom. It could be a fire for just being a force of kindness in the world. But when when women just like kind of like come face to face with that and be like, this is my fire and I'm going to own it. I just know that makes a difference. And I feel like there are women in the world who have answers and transformation for a lot of the things we see in the world, a lot of issues, whether they're like huge issues or small ones. And I'm really passionate about women getting to that place where they not only realize they have a fire, but they have kind of like that audacity to like, in some ways, like get out of their own way and own it and make those dreams happen. So it really partly comes from that. And then it also partly comes from what I mentioned before about being like a creative, passionate person who has big dreams and kind of thinks outside the box, how that can be lonely and like, especially just depending on like what kind of family you grew up in or whatever, people can maybe they tell you like straight out you're crazy. And so just wanting to create like relationships and a sense of belonging and like a sense of, wow, maybe I'm, not nuts, but maybe this is necessary to just necessary in the world.
Yeah, I like that because, and I went to your Twitter party yesterday, like we had talked about, and just seeing the community and seeing everybody encouraging each other was so nice. It was all about just being supportive and being honest about what you're struggling with and getting to see that you are not alone in those struggles. You're not alone in trying to figure this all out as you're trying to get your passion out into the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that I've really tried to cultivate from the beginning, that we would be a culture of encouragement and that no matter where people like came across us, whether it was in a Twitter party or different social media or whatever, that they would leave more encouraged than when they came in.
Yeah. So what is your favorite part about what you do?
My favorite part is probably thinking of new ideas. I'm like an idea junkie. And I like anyone who's a real idea person knows like there's like this point where like you get an idea and you just like are in love with it and you just like feel the energy off it to make it happen. And that's probably one of my favorite parts of like getting new ideas and being able to have the freedom and confidence to implement them.
Yeah. And what is your least favorite part?
Probably there's a lot of the detail work, or the administrative stuff that can, if I don't have a handle on it, it can become overwhelming for me, especially with the amount of social media content. I mean, anyone who does anything online knows that it's a lot of social media content and, like determining what social media channels you're going to be on and how much content you're going to put out. I know for us, like we're at a point where we put out over 160 updates across Facebook and Twitter, and so every week. And so That's so much content, and sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do it.
I cannot imagine trying to do that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay. So I'm wondering, you have all these ideas. So do a lot of them come to fruition, or do you have to abandon a lot of them?
Yeah, I definitely can't do them all. And some of them are actually great ideas. Some of them are a little too crazy, or they like just don't make sense. Or like sometimes I'll like have an idea and I'll be like, oh my gosh, like people are gonna love this. And then I'm like, no, they're not. Like that's confusing or weird. And so, but the way that I kind of do it is like I'll maybe mention the idea to a few different people and see how people respond. That's a pretty good indicator of whether or not it's necessarily a good idea. And then just like also figuring out like what are the ideas that I really want to go after. Because I mean, if I went after every idea, then it would be a little bit chaotic. And it'd be like, what is she doing? So.
Okay. So what do you think the best thing you've done for your business and your community is?
That's a great question. For me, probably being really intentional about the kind of culture that we want to build. Because every business, like every brand, every website, I feel like has a culture to it. It's like what you feel when you get on their website, when you encounter them, when you read their content. It's like that feeling, you know? And I feel like it's awesome to be able to be super intentional about how you want to make people feel and like what you want to give away to them. And so at the beginning, honestly, there were like 7 pillars of our culture, but some of them are still a really active part of what we do. But the top one is definitely encouragement, and watching for me how much lives can be impacted through an encouraging moment or encouraging words. I think it's more powerful than it sometimes gets credit for.
Yeah. Is there anything that you wish you had done differently?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely easy to make mistakes. And there are certain ways that I handled things in terms of like building a team and bringing people on, which that I did that with more grace and like just more putting more thought into it and being really intentional about who are the people that I bring on and like getting to know them before giving them that type of place. And sometimes it's easy, I think, especially like passionate personalities, it can be so easy to be like just do things on a whim, and like you're just feeling it and it feels so great. And so like having those moments, but also having these moments of like, okay, what's gonna be best for the business, or what's gonna be great for the community, or whatever.
Okay. So you work with a team now, right?
Yeah, well, right now we have 3 interns.
Okay. So how do you sort of delegate to them and manage all of that?
Yeah, their jobs are super specific, which helps me. It's not like they're a general intern. And so, for example, one, Kersha helps me with graphic design, and Taylor helps me specifically with creating content for Twitter, and Jess specifically helps me with marketing. And so it helps me in that way to just be able to know what the tasks are that I can put under them. The challenge for me sometimes is not doing everything myself. But yeah, the key for me in terms of like finding people, and this is something I've had to learn, but finding people to join your team, the number one thing is finding someone who like really gets the vision of what you're trying to do.
Okay. Yeah. I would have a super hard time delegating.
Yeah, it can be tough.
So now you're going into this campaign, the We Are Fire and Light. So I want you to talk about just how that got started.
Mm-hmm. Well, basically, I just knew that I had wanted to create some type of social media campaign. I love doing that. Like, I love the mobilizing of people and being able to get a message out in a short period of time as a collective group. And so I thought a lot about like, but like, what would it be, and like, what kind of message would we want to put out in the world? And that's how kind of it was born. We Are Fire and Light. I really wanted to put the message out into the world that that women are so necessary, and that there's fire and light in them that the world needs, and that it's like almost this idea of like when every woman owns that for herself. It's like this firework show in the sky. It's incredible and beautiful and creates such impact. And so and so then I knew that we wanted to do it via social media specifically, and so then I just started getting to work.
So you are, what am I going to ask? Is that something a lot of the women that you're in your community struggle with? Is just feeling like they can't get all of that out into the world, or things are bringing them down? Is that something that they struggle with a lot?
Yeah, I find like I have found with women, often like women tend to stand in their own way a lot and really struggle with self-doubt. And so they have like all these awesome ideas or dreams or passions, but feel like either like it's not enough, or they can't do it, or they're not something, like they're not beautiful or capable or brilliant or whatever enough. And I find that to be one of the biggest things that holds women back, like more than money, status, position. It's how they think about themselves and how they think about the things that they are carrying, whether it's dreams or passions or whatever. And so that, I think, even in the creation of the campaign, it's like getting women to that place of being able to like say, I'm fire, I'm light, is a really powerful moment.
Yeah, it's really nice to know that you're not the only one that struggles with that, because I think we all sort of hide it. We want everybody in the world to think we've got everything together, we know what we're doing, and that's just really not the case behind the scenes.
Yeah, totally. I think every woman struggles with it, with those types of insecurities at some point, some level.
Do you have any like advice for what people can do if they're struggling with that?
Well, I mean, I have a few different ideas. I think one thing that I'll say three pieces of advice. So one, to let someone know like that you're struggling with those insecurities. Sometimes even in just in saying those things out loud, you're like, they don't seem as crazy or as big. And at the same time, you'll see that you're not the only one, like you were saying. Number two is kind of like just journaling. I find helps a lot. I'm like a big fan on like even more than journaling, but just like asking yourself questions and like just learning about your own heart and learning about like what are the things that you really need and what are the things that you really desire and what's like really going on in there. And so being able to ask yourself questions like, in light of insecurities, like what am I really afraid of, and what do I really think of myself, and where is this coming from, whatever. And thirdly, in kind of that same vein of like being able to also make a practice of not only speaking truth to yourself, but giving yourself opportunity where you can experience that truth. So, for example, like if say someone struggled with feeling beautiful, you know, they could like explore that for their own through their own heart and like remind themselves that they're beautiful, but then to do something that makes them feel beautiful, which could be different for everyone, whether it's like, I don't know, wearing something in particular or like doing something where they just feel really alive. That would definitely be my advice.
Yeah, I think that's good because I think what we see so much is you have to fit in these certain things. But if you actually take the time to sit down and figure out A, what is really underneath the insecurities, and B, what makes you feel like you're beautiful or worthy or whatever, and you spend time on those things, that's really going to get you more to that place. You can't just try to do what the world tells you to do because it's not going to work for everybody.
It's so true. And like we're all such unique individuals. That it's good to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah. It looks like Sarah just jumped on, so I was just going to let her know that if she has any questions, she can just type them in.
Yeah.
So what are you hoping that women get out of the We Are Fire and Light campaign, like individually, and then what are you hoping happens as a bigger movement?
Probably one of two things for individually, like either that women get that feeling of like what it feels like to be like, this is my fire. And if they haven't figured out what it is, maybe get a glimpse into what that could be for them. And as well, like just collectively, like there's just a incredible energy that comes when you do something together. I mean, every week at a Twitter party, like that's what we experience because it's so like alive together in the moment. And so I feel like collectively what I'm hoping for is that there will just be like this momentum of strength and yeah, just like strength and passion that feeds off one another. And it like kind of encourages this boldness in each of us individually to not only be like, this is what my fire is, this is what won't stop me, but you know, we can do this, like we can do our dreams, we can make this stuff happen, we can make a difference together.
Yeah.
And
I went to the Twitter party and I loved the energy there, so I'm excited to see how that carries over into like this longer thing. See how people are really connecting with each other through that, you know, instead of, you know, I'm sure that you don't want it to just be everybody types in their own tweets and goes about their day. You want people to interact with you.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's fun to see because it's like, you know, never really know what's going to happen or how it's totally going to go, but it'll be super cool to see. I'll be watching along with everyone else.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to get involved and they're not already, where can they go to do that?
Yeah, so they can go to our website, wearefirepeople.com. And, well, you could go wearefirepeople.com/wearefireandlight. But if you just go to the homepage, there's also a banner at the top that you can click in. And from there, you can get everything that you need to be a part of it.
Okay. Yeah, I have a link to your website so everybody can check that out. And then what else are you doing throughout the week or throughout those couple of days to sort of get this started?
Yeah, so we're on top of like we're just getting it out into social media, we're also doing a giveaway, which it's open for the entire time that the campaign's going on, 19th to the 21st. And we're giving away a lot of prizes. And so you can check them out on the website. We're also giving away a $200 scholarship to one woman who participates in the campaign, just to kind of like breathe life into her dream. And then as well, there's going to be a Twitter party on the Wednesday to like kind of like close it out. And it'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern. So, I mean, if you're really eager, next week there will be Twitter parties on Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
So you're going to basically spend 3 days on Twitter.
Basically. It'll be
Yeah,
the best.
I think I looked at all the giveaway stuff, and I think it's really cool to see all of these women who are giving stuff from their businesses, because you get to take a look at what everybody's doing. Like, I was clicking through them to just go to people's websites and see what they did, and it's so awesome to have all these women who are doing really great things come together that you wouldn't, I wouldn't normally have found them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's a super, super sweet thing about it.
Okay. So we've got We Are Fire and Light coming up, and everybody should sign up and be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were telling me how many people were involved right now. So how many is that? And then what would you like to see that get to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's around 230 women a part of it so far. And by the end of the campaign, I would love to see us hit around 500 women. That's kind of my goal. So double what we're at right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'll be interesting to watch, these 230 women that are participating and tweeting and getting out there, and seeing how many people join in just from seeing that on Twitter and trending, and get interested and involved that way. Because I think a lot of the community that you're in is creative entrepreneurs and creative people, and getting the word out past that, I think, will be really impactful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I was wondering, how did you transition growing this community into services that you offer now?
Mm-hmm. Well, originally I was kind of doing two businesses. So there was Firework People, and then I had a copywriting business. And so at that point, like, a lot of my profit was coming through the copywriting. And so I was like, for a long time, was trying to figure out like how to merge them, because it's kind of hard. It's kind of a lot of work sometimes to like have two businesses. And so, yeah, but I mean, even from the beginning of Fire People, we just tried a lot of different things to make money, so that we could be self-sustaining. And the key, I think, for me has been like, just keep trying things. Even if it doesn't work, like, just keep trying.
Okay. So have you seen a lot of like people come to your business through the community?
I've seen some. I would probably say that it's more the other way around, that
Okay.
people get to the business side of stuff through the community.
Okay. And then I'm interested, because I've never worked with a copywriter. I had one on here for one of my first interviews, but how do you combine your copywriting with helping women find, their passion and communicate that?
Mm-hmm. Well, with copywriting, like, I'm really particular now, more so than ever, that I only like to work with clients who have an idea of what their vision is. Because it's really hard for anyone to come in and write copy for you if you don't know what you're wanting to do or why you're doing it. And so it's a cool opportunity for me to be able to really partner with people in a really practical way, and say, really help them like communicate their vision and put words to it in a way that's really compelling and captivating for people.
Okay. So if somebody is struggling with figuring out exactly what their vision for something is when they come to you, what do you advise that they do to sort of find that?
Great question. And sometimes I'll do like a session with them, like on the phone for an hour, where we can talk about what they, like, what is their vision, and try and come out with something concrete. Or I also I really always suggest and come back to that idea of like really dig in deep to who you are and what you want out of life and what you want to give away to people, through asking yourself questions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think, because I've done some of this, trying to figure out exactly what my passion is and my vision, because I feel like I enjoy so many things. But I think what it comes back to is you have to do something that you really enjoy to really make it worthwhile, and it's not just about the amount of money you bring in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I think it can be easy to like get into that track of mind of like it's all about the money or like the numbers, but even like of followers. But I think it's super important to like find out like how you really want to serve people, how you really want to connect with people, and how you want to make their lives better by doing what you do.
Yeah. So how do you balance the business that you're running, the community that you're running, with your outside life?
Yeah, sometimes it's super hard. Yeah, like you really need to have boundaries and know how to enforce them. Even just in terms of like, I mean, I know there's some really like brilliant people that have written about this topic and like written about it online, of like being really particular about like when you're available and when you're not, and like being sure to take time off and take days off, and take time to like unplug and rest. I think it can be especially difficult like when you do an online business, because the temptation is always there to be plugged in like 24/7. And it takes some serious self-discipline to like unplug.
Yeah, it does. One of the best things I did was turn off the like notification sound for when I get emails and social media.
Yeah.
So I still check my phone, but I'm not like constantly hearing it ding and going over to it every 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's so smart.
Yeah. And then I'm wondering what you think about, I feel like we are in a culture where online businesses are really growing, they're becoming really popular, and what I hear a lot is people are working 16-hour days, they're working really hard to get this started and going. How do you feel about that?
It's interesting. I mean, because I think the dream for a lot of people is that, you create these online businesses that are flexible and offer freedom, and eventually at some point, like, for them to not be something that consumes your life. But at the same time, like, I think that, I don't know, like, if it's consuming your life at the beginning, how will it not consume your life later?
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said about, we can work so hard, like, to try and create something that we like drive ourselves into the ground, and it's like, what about all those moments and all those days where we weren't like living fully present because we were trying to create some type of future that maybe we don't even get to enjoy, because we're just always working. So I think it's so important to really like learn a balance of, work really hard to make your dreams happen, but also like just live super on purpose so you can enjoy the moments while you have them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, you need to work hard and put in your best effort, but don't know that at some point you're sitting on your computer 16 hours after you started, you're not really getting that much accomplished.
No, it's totally true.
Yeah. So how do you think, running this business and these campaigns and helping other women find their passions has influenced you in your life?
Mm-hmm. Well, like, yeah, it's totally influenced me in terms of like, I feel like this is my passion, helping other women really own theirs and helping them realize the possibility that the dreams inside of them aren't just meant to stay dreams, but they were made to be reality. But it has also taught me a lot, like, even about, even when we speak to things that certain people struggle with, And like sometimes those are the things like I need to hear the most too. And so it's cool to be able to speak truth to people and also receive it for yourself.
Yeah. So where do you want to see the Firework People community grow to? Like, do you have a vision for that?
Yeah, like eventually down the line, I want us to be just a real presence in the online world, where it's like when women come across us, like they're like filled with this feeling of encouragement and possibility, and to be able to give women real practical tools on how to make it all happen, and also, as we were saying before, like enjoy life. Um, and then also down the line, I really want to be doing more live events, so like things in person, not just online.
Yeah, I think that'd be really neat to get to see all these people who've met online and gotten to know each other come together in person and get to connect that way too.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the other big thing that's kind of that we've been working on is coming really soon is that I've been creating a subscription box service for women who are going after their dreams to be an encouragement and inspiration, and it's called the Firework Box. And so it'll be like filled with just like little products to inspire. So it could be anything from like prints to cards to lip balms to magnets, whatever. And we're actually opening pre-sales for that at the end of the campaign. It's kind of like the at the end of the campaign. So.
Okay. And are there other communities that you're involved with online that you would recommend to people who are looking to just build more connections?
Yeah, I am. Well, the ones there's probably three I'm the most involved in, and I would say that in terms of Facebook groups, it would be Savvy Business Owners by Heather Crabtree. I think their community is phenomenal, and the Rising Tide Society, which I also really love the heart behind it. And on Twitter, like really the only other Twitter party I'll go to regularly is Kayla's Create Lounge.
Okay. Yeah, I just talked to her on Monday, actually. Her interview was pre-recorded, so it'll get posted later.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's great.
And I think everybody should check out both because I love both communities. I think they're both so encouraging and upbeat and everything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So is there anybody you really admire what they're doing, either in business offline or online right now?
I would probably say Heather, who I just talked about, who has the Facebook group. What I really love about her is that she's doing really incredible things in her business, and she maintains such a like generous and kind approach to everything she does, and really facilitates a space for people to collaborate and learn from one another, and like really like pushes that, you know, like give more than you take from people. So I love that about her. And another person I really admire is Hannah Brancher, who, you know, started the nonprofit The World Needs More Love Letters. And I love her because I think that she has so much heart that she pours into what she does, and it's pretty inspiring.
Yeah. I think when you find those people who their passion behind what they do is really clear, it's so nice because you don't feel like you're just another number or another person on their email list or whatever. You feel like they really care about what they're doing and how you take all of that and learn from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you wanted to share about either what you do, about the campaign coming up before we do our closing questions?
No. I think I'm good.
All right. So what advice would you give to people who are just starting out online?
Okay, my advice would be just try. And just like keep trying different things and see what works. Like don't be afraid to fail, and if you do fail, just bounce back fast. Because the failure doesn't define you, and the more things that you can try, like the faster you can get to that success that you want.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Everybody's afraid to fail, but and to me, it's not even really like a failure. You just tried something and it didn't work, so you go try something else.
It's so true. I think that a lot of people they'll like be trying something and then they will feel like that twinge of failure and they'll give up. And they'll be like, never mind, But like literally, like if they would just keep going, like they're just like so close to the success and breakthrough that they want.
Yeah. So what are your goals for the next 6 months?
Wow. Well, definitely like to launch the subscription box and to have it be a success. Also to increase our one thing we've really been working on is our blog content. So increasing readership and engagement there. And thirdly, probably have an idea of what live events could look like in the future.
Okay. And then other than the campaign and the subscription box, is there anything else you're working on that people can check out now or should look for, coming up?
I would say those are the two main things. If by chance you happen to live in the same city as me, which I'm highly doubting, but I am also planning a meetup for young female creatives.
Oh,
so you could come.
I think that'll be a lot of fun to get to see everybody, bring together people in your community.
Yeah, I'm like all about like, let me see your face.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how that goes and how, even if you could help people sort of establish that in their own communities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And just see how it goes and see how we can help people do the same thing.
All right. Well, if there isn't anything else, I guess we're about done. I've gone through everything I had.
Okay. Well, I had so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, and I'm really excited to see this campaign, and everybody should go and check it out and sign up to because you have tons of graphics and everything that people can use, and even if you don't sign up for it, you'll see it on Twitter. I'm hoping it does go viral and people are really going to follow it.
Yes, I hope so too.
All right. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.